of 34 cryptocurrency accounts connected to the Freedom Convoy, which isn't totally fascistic in any sort of way, but that's what these anti-fascists do. They are fascists, and they believe they're fighting fascism with fascism. Canadian authorities have sanctioned 34 cryptocurrency wallets connected to the Freedom Convoy. Just like Give, Send, Go, they are crippling the financial means to keep this going because, what's better than taking out a peaceful protest? Well, ruining people's lives. Connected to the Freedom Convoy trucker protests in Canada after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced he was taking even more aggressive measures to crack down on protests, which isn't totally fascistic or anything like his dad would do. I don't know who his dad is, but it's definitely not Fidel Castro. Cryptocurrency sites CoinDesk reported that Ontario Provincial Police and Royal Canadian Mounted Police ordered all regulated Canadian financial firms to halt transactions from 34 crypto wallets tied to the Freedom Convoy. Yes, even crypto is being stopped as the Give, Send, Go was hacked and their information was leaked and whatnot. But yeah, it's unreal the extent the left goes in order for their way to be put across, isn't it? It's weird one side is willing to censor, cancel, get rid of, endanger people's lives in order for their view to be put forth. But once again, and for you to be encouraged to tell on your neighbors. But remind me again, who's the fascistic person in this scope of things? But here's what happened between Canadians' Parliament today, which is always fantastic to watch, especially if you're not necessarily the biggest Justin Trudeau fan, because his rhetoric it's just silly. But let's listen.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The Prime Minister calls people he disagrees with racist, misogynist. He spent the last month wedging, dividing, stigmatizing, and traumatizing Canadians. I understand the Prime Minister admires basic dictatorships, but let's remind the Prime Minister this is...
She's referring to an old clip where Justin Trudeau was talking about how great it is in China for them to be able to totally change course on the dime because they have so much power. And again, he's admiring someone who's an evil dictator but allows free enterprise to happen on the backs of slaves like the Uyghur Muslims that you're not allowed to talk about, and we'll pretend like they don't exist, and I'll continue to enjoy my iPhone and watch my Mulan and Disney movies, and, it's a kid's movie, and so I can... Whatever happens, right? Keep listening.
Canada, this is not a dictatorship. The Prime Minister is actually pouring gasoline on embers. Isn't it true the Prime Minister is doing this for one reason and one reason alone? It's to save his own political career.
I'm going to fight back on that. I think he is pushing a narrative, pushing a message, and he's doubling down at all costs because he actually believes this. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. But this response from him is unreal.
The Minister is doing this for one reason and one reason alone. It's to save his own political career.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Simply can't have it both ways. They spent weeks complaining that we weren't doing enough to restore order in this country, and now when we move forward to give people the tools they need...
I'm going to have to interrupt the...
I love when somebody just stops talking.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. I've been getting emails from people who are watching us at home, and they're pretty ashamed of their parliament because of the shouting that goes on. One person brought something up. They said, well, all the shouting happens at the beginning. Why not start with the end questions? If this continues at the beginning, I'm going to the last question, turn my list upside down, and we'll start at the end. The Honourable Prime Minister.
I'll tell you why people are shouting. It's because when you tell people things like this, and again, this is a Jewish MP, Melissa Latzman, listen to Justin Trudeau's response to her. Should be very telling of what he believes.
People very often
necessary to help out.
Optimistic, hopeful vision for public life isn't a naive dream. It could be a powerful force for change. If Canadians are to trust their government needs to trust Canadians. Those are the words of the Prime Minister in 2015. These people, very often misogynistic, racist, women haters, science deniers, the fringe. Same Prime Minister 6 years later as he fans the flames of an unjustified national emergency. So, Mr. Speaker, when did the Prime Minister lose his way? When did it happen?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Conservative Party members can stand with people who wave swastikas. They can stand with people who wave the Confederate flag. We will choose to stand with Canadians who deserve to be able to get to their
God, I just cannot stand when politicians will take one instance and then make it the entire story in order to fit their agenda and fit their narrative. It drives me up the freaking wall. But I stand for freedom of speech. Take that what you will.
jobs, who be able to get their lives back. These illegal protests need to stop, and they will, Mr. Speaker.
He just literally told a Jewish MP that she stands with people that wave a Confederate flag and a Nazi swastika flag. That's just the most ridiculous thing. Again, no one has found out who this person is. Brought that one flag to the entire protest that the media took on. Was it somebody that worked with the media? I don't freaking know. No one knows. People are still trying to find out. But, you know, that's what the whole story becomes about. And then people have like an agenda, and it fits their narrative, and it fits their category, and therefore they can remain in their delusion.
I just want to remind the honourable members, including the Right Honourable Prime Minister, to use words that are not inflammatory in the House, and that's for both sides. The Honourable Member for Thornhill.
So there's that clip, which is insane and crazy, but, you know, he's not done. He's pushing this agenda. He will die on that hill alone if he wants to. This, I think, is a beautiful representation of what the convoy is really about, as this trucker explains somebody who knows personal experience about communism. And again, Justin Trudeau is very communistic in his tendencies, and he's been pushing this from day one. But here's this trucker. Let's listen to this guy. Why would a guy who went through communism be against being forced something medically on your body by the government? Let's listen to his from the horse's mouth, as they say.
Is there anything that you would like people to know that maybe they haven't thought about?
To trust us. And I want to all the Canadians to wake up, to see what kind of leader we have. He's not standing up in front of us to say something. For the last 3 weeks, he's hiding. Why so weak? A leader should be not weak. A war is starting today. He's gonna be the last one alive. Because it's a week to stand up for his or own citizens. I feel bad. Because I come to Canada for a free country. Look at us. And look at these protests, like so peaceful. And they come with more threats towards us. They're gonna do this. They're gonna take my license away. You know, I'm more than happy to give the license. I'm not gonna live under his regime. I'm gonna give my license away. Then to go on my knees in front of him. I'm gonna give my truck. I'm gonna give my life away to be under his regime.
And where did you move to Canada from?
I moved from Romania. I live communist time. This is communist. You know, when I come in this country, was beautiful country. Soon that Trudeau took the power, day by day, he took a piece of our freedom, day by day. And what's enough, it's enough. We cannot take it anymore.
Listen to that guy. You could take my freedoms. You could take my license. You could take the means in which I make money. You could do whatever you want. I'm standing for what I believe in because freedom is more important than my safety. It's more important than my comfortability. That is somebody I would follow. I am so tired of people not being willing to do stuff like this. This guy freaking fires me up, and he should fire you up because this guy knows what it's like to come from a communistic country to wanting to be free. I wish he could be granted asylum into our country so that he could live free, but I digress. So that is the update on the trucker situation. Cryptocurrencies, they are just going after finances, or they're doxing these people, they're outing these people, they're trying to get them fired, etc., etc. These peaceful protesters who are just sitting in the streets, blockading, whatever, as we had an entire summer of the complete opposite of what a peaceful protest is supposed to look like. But I digress because, you know, they don't fit the narrative. They don't follow the regime. They're not following the elitists. They're not part of these communistic push of power to not have freedom because, again, they constantly want to take freedoms away from you. And that is always what my podcast is about, is reclaiming freedom, because freedom is more important than anything on earth for us to live happy lives. Yes, you will give up a lot of safety and uncomfortability, but freedom is worth it in the end, always. Let's go on to the next story because